Quentin Grimes is the New York Knicks' best kept secret. With the Knicks currently on a 7-game winning streak, they've been doing a lot of different things well. But a huge factor for why the Knicks are playing so well has been the great play of Quentin Grimes on both sides of the court. And what Grimes is providing out there is just extremely valuable and certainly does promote winning. But quickly, before we get the video started, for those of you who may not know, I'm Juicy Sports, I make opinionated NBA content, and if you guys enjoy videos similar to this, hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that post notification bell. I also want to quickly mention that I recently started up an MMA channel, and if you guys are interested in that, the link will be in the description. But anyways, let's get into it. After starting out as a slightly below 500 team, over the last 10 or so games, the Knicks have really done a nice job to turn things around completely. Offensively, the ball is moving around a lot more fluidly, they're getting a lot more open opportunities, and overall they're just a lot more efficient and effective offensively. But the main key for why the Knicks have been playing so well over this recent stretch has certainly been their defense. And the fact that they've been playing such great individual defense, but more importantly team defense over the stretch, has really fed their offense. And the reason why they're playing very well offensively is due to the great defense. It's not the other way around. And there's certainly been a ton of different players that have been responsible for the success that the Knicks have been having as of late. The main players that come to mind are Jalen Brunson and the great play that he's had all year, but especially during this recent stretch as well. RJ Barrett has been playing great, especially during the stretch. Even Julius Randle has been playing very well. And when you have your best three players playing as well as they're playing, you're probably going to be pretty successful, and the Knicks certainly have been. But there's certain other guys in the Knicks roster that have been playing very well and just holding everything together. But one player that I want to touch upon who's been very valuable to the Knicks ever since he was drafted, but especially on this recent stretch, he's been doing a lot, and he's been a huge reason for why they've been playing so well on this stretch, has been Quentin Grimes. Now, if you didn't know Quentin Grimes and you only look at his statistics, you may consider me crazy for saying that he's the New York Knicks' best kept secret. Because on the season, he's only averaging 8.6 points per game on 48% shooting from the field, 3.3 rebounds on 1.9 assists. But the thing about Grimes is he's not a guy that relies on his statistics. He provides a ton of value outside of that. On the offensive side of the court, what Grimes does and what he does so effectively is spread out the floor. He's a great catch and shoot 3-point jump shooter. On the season, he's shooting 38% from deep, which is very, very good. He's also able to do a couple of other things out there offensively, like a nice little one dribble pull up, even has a decent ability to drive all the way to the basket and finish around players with crafty layups. He even has an above average basketball IQ and has the ability to find players cutting backdoor for easy dunks or layups, or at the top of the key for wide open 3-point jump shots. Although he isn't known as a passer and playmaker, and I wouldn't consider him a good one, I do think he has a really good basketball IQ that really helps out in that aspect. And the limited amount of times that he does have the ball in his hands, he does tend to make great decisions, either scoring for himself or passing to others for wide open shots. But the great thing about Grimes and what makes him so valuable is not only is he a great 3-point shooter offensively, and not only is he able to do what he can offensively, he's also a phenomenal defender. Grimes is one of those defenders that has a capability to guard the opposing team's best player every single night. He does a phenomenal job at playing great on-ball defense. He has quick hands, he can poke the ball away, get steals, he reads the passing lanes very effectively and can get steals that way as well. He's also phenomenal at help defense, and he's basically the ideal player that you want to play with. Just a guy that can take a ton of pressure off some other players defensively, specifically Jalen Brunson, who's been known to struggle somewhat defensively. So when you have a player like Grimes that's able to spread the ball out effectively on the offensive side, but also play great defense, that's going to be very valuable to any team in the NBA. I mentioned this in a lot of my videos, but literally every single team in the NBA always needs two more things. They need shooting and they need defense. So if you can find a player that does both of those things in one player, that player is very valuable, even if he's not an all-star type guy or a superstar. But I think a player like Grimes is especially valuable on a team like the Knicks when you consider their top 3 guys are interior guys. When you talk about Jalen Brunson, he's phenomenal. Of course, he has the ability to shoot the 3 ball, and he does so at a pretty decent rate, but he does most of his damage either A, in the mid-range area, or B, in the post. So having a guy like Grimes that spreads the floor out and just gives him more room to do what he does is very valuable for the Knicks, because that means Brunson is going to play better out there. Now, when you look at a guy in RJ Barrett, very similar thing. He he does most of his damage either A, driving all the way to the basket, or B, shooting that mid-range jump shot as well. You look at Julius Randle, the exact same thing. So if all three of your main guys either do most of their damage from the paint or from that mid-range area, and having a guy that would require whatever defender's guarding him to stay up on him and respect him is going to be extremely valuable. But when you look at the defensive side, Grimes is also extremely valuable because of course he's a great defender, but why that's important for the Knicks specifically is a lot of times what the Knicks have done is they put RJ Barrett on the opposing team's best player. Now it makes sense, RJ is certainly a very good defender, but something that the Knicks have been doing as of late is they would have RJ on the opposing team's best player in the first half, but in the second half they would switch it to Quentin Grimes. And why that's important is because then RJ doesn't need to get as tired defensively by trying to guard the opposing team's best player and trying to limit him there, and then in turn he would have more energy to do his own work offensively. And there also wouldn't be a drop off in defense from RJ to Grimes. Grimes is arguably even a better defender than RJ is. But also when you have a great defender like Grimes, it helps hide other guys like Jalen Brunson and some other players on the team that aren't known for their defense. When you have a lineup out there where your top three guys are Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, and Quentin Grimes, you're going to be okay out there, at least on the perimeter, because even though Jalen isn't known for his defense and he certainly struggles, the other two guys are very good defenders and they do a nice job at hiding Jalen on the defensive side of the court. So having that extra really good defender in Quentin Grimes really helps out a ton. And I think a lot of the things that I talked about in this video, we've really seen in this recent stretch. The Knicks have been playing great team defense, and a lot of that is due to Quentin Grimes and his individual as well as his great team defense, and they've also done a really nice job offensively. Now, obviously Grimes isn't running the offense, and he's not the main reason why they're playing great offense, but he's certainly a big factor. The fact that he's able to spread the ball out effectively, and the fact that he's hitting a consistent amount of three-point jump shots really helps out the team a lot. And I just think the success that the Knicks do end up having throughout the rest of this season, and hopefully in the playoffs if they do make it there, Grimes is going to have a huge part in that. But now the question is, what kind of progression do I see for Grimes? Well, in my opinion, I basically think the guy we see out there is basically going to be the player we see for him going forward long term. I think he's certainly going to get better. I see him averaging anywhere from 14 to 15 points per game, maybe doing some more things offensively, but basically I think the crux of his game is he's going to be a 3-and-D guy that can do some more things offensively, but he's not going to be an all-star type guy. He's not going to be a guy that averages 18 to 20 points per game. I basically see him being the player that he is now, just a little bit better with time. But nonetheless, that's an extremely valuable player, and when you have other guys out there like Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett, even Julius, assuming he stays long term, which I'm not necessarily sure if he will, but if he does, that's an extremely valuable guy to have on that roster. Now, is it possible that Grimes improves significantly and he turns into a legitimate scorer, a guy who averages anywhere from 20 plus points per game, or maybe even better than that? Who knows? Of course it is possible. I do think he's a very talented player, but at this point I don't necessarily have those expectations for him. But I guess we'll see what happens as time does progress. But I am a huge fan of what Quentin Grimes does for the Knicks. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Quentin Grimes is a really good player, or do you not think so? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy it, check one of these two videos popping up now, and until the next time, peace out guys.